Almost 1 year ago, I started designing the head for a minifigure scaled Smaug, and that has led me down a crazy ambitious journey, from designing and building his huge wings to building a torso that was strong enough to hold it all together. But now, we're getting to the tail end of things. Starting with a total redesign for the pillars that will go in Erebor. I chose dark green for the main color and sand green for the marbled veins. And to give the pillars more dimension, I chose dark gray to line the corners. And to help things along, my sister Lynn built one of the pillars with me. There were only some slight hiccups along the way. But they didn't take that long to fix. And with the pillars done, well, at least Lynn's, I can move on to the intentionally broken one that Smaug will be crawling over. Using a fairly simple technique, I just make 3 swift slices. And there you have a perfectly broken pillar. And now it's time to finally finish Smaug and give him his tail. First, I need to finish covering up the extension I made to his torso to support his hind legs. Now, because Smaug's tail needed to be 9 feet long, it was very important that I figure out first how gradually his tail needed to shrink. Starting right behind his legs, his tail measured 8.5 inches in diameter and needed to be about 1.25 inches in diameter once I reached about the 6-foot mark. And this is because his tail pretty much stopped shrinking at that point. And to achieve this gradual decrease in size, I calculated that for every 6 studs worth of tail, I needed to retract 1 plate from every side. Now that the base of the tail is covered and I know my formula, I can continue down the rest of the tail, shaping it as I go. For the end of his tail, I wanted to try something a little different. I made a bunch of little sections, then ran flex tube through them all, leaving gaps just big enough so I could get some good flexibility, and have a more dynamic pose. With that, the tail is finished, and Smaug is finally ready to get put in his treasure hoard in Erebor. I chose wood for the base structure for many reasons. One, I wanted the section that Smaug would be sitting on to be elevated versus the front of the display so that when I poured gold studs on it, it gave the illusion that it had more depth. And when I bring it to shows, it will span across 3 tables, and I needed to support the display's weight and mine to be able to set it up. I wanted the front of the display to be where the gold tapers off, to simulate the part in the movie when Bilbo makes it to the end of the mountainous horde after Smaug is done chasing him. With the front plated, I can move on to setting up Smaug. To give the horde more sparkle, I ran lights all along the gold plates. And if you're wondering where I got these plates, they're sold at Bricks and Minifig stores. Now, they're not LEGO brand, but they are very good quality and colored match, and will help hide any thin spots in the horde. After that's done, all the pillars can be placed, and I can begin dumping the gold. Then, the hoarding begins. I placed hundreds of gold and gem-like items in this horde, and tons of references to other LEGO themes I hardly know anything about. I had 2 rules when getting things for the horde. It needed to be LEGO, and it needed to be gold or some type of precious gem. And that's basically it. And now, for the piece of resistance. Bilbo Baggins. Here, in Erebor, lies a fire drake from the north. Save one weak spot. His armor is like tenfold shields. His teeth are swords, claws, spears. The shock of his tail is a thunderbolt. His wings, a hurricane. And his breath, death. This is Smaug the Terrible. He laid low the warriors of old, and their like is not in this world. It has been a long time in the making, but the moment is finally here. In total, this MOC has used over 120,000 gold studs, with Smaug having a length from head to tail of almost 15 feet long, with a wingspan that would stretch about 18 feet across. His horde is vast, with references to Minecraft, Marvel, DC, Pirates of the Caribbean, Indiana Jones, and many classic LEGO themes. There are even references to the Hobbit video game with a custom printed canister and envelope. And of course, I can't forget to mention the prize jewel of this horde, the Arkenstone. This is the tallest and largest MOC I have ever made, and I hope to make many more cool things like this in the future. And if you want to see him in person, I will be bringing him to Brickworld Chicago June 20th through the 21st, and other LEGO events throughout the year that I will be posting on my channel. That's all for now. But if you're into minifig scaled MOCs, subscribe, because I've got a lot of fun ideas for the future.